Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Well, good evening, Jen.
Good evening, Dave.
It's the Jammin Jungle Podcast on a late night recording. Yes, it's
so tired.
Schedules are just schedules, and here we are. It is like 10 o'clock at night for you. It's like 11 for me. It's like 11 o'clock at night for you.
Listen, y'all, if you're watching on YouTube, this has been all week.
I look a mess. My hair.
This has been all week.
Just, I don't have makeup on.
I'm sorry.
My hair is up. I haven't washed my hair in a couple of days. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I never wash my hair, so that's not anything new.
It's very true. Very true. So that is Jen, and I am Dave, and this is the Main Street Electrical Podcast, as we're going to talk some magic and have some fun stuff. But Jen, I got to ask you, you've had a crazy week. How did you manage to Disney this week in all your craziness?
The one thing is I have been wearing my Walt Disney World Minnie Mouse shirt. Of course, I'm back from the cruise now, so I can't use that one. But almost every day I have worn a Disney shirt. I've worn my Disney Wish inaugural shirt is one of the ones. I've worn this shirt probably more than once. I mean, what? So, yeah, it's been a good week. It's been an interesting week. So how about you? How did you Disney this week?
So this week I discovered that Harmonious is on digital download. You can download the entire musical show. It's like a 25-minute musical piece. There's like 9 tracks to it. And it's wonderful. It's fantastic. I downloaded it a couple days ago. I've listened to it a couple times. This is a show that I've seen twice, so I'm not like Happily Ever After. Mm-hmm. I knew it backwards and forwards and everything. I'm so excited about it. You know, Enchantment, I'm still getting there. I've seen it twice. Harmonious, same thing. I've seen it a couple of times. It's going to take me a few more times to really get into okay, this is coming, and I love that part of the music, whatever. The soundtrack is
I don't know the music very well yet.
Well, it's $10 on iTunes. What I did discover is that you can't buy the CD anymore. I wanted the physical CD. Well, I take that back. You can't order it off Amazon. I think you can buy it in the parks, which is somebody on Twitter was like holding the CD up going, I've got the CD
well, in
today.
that case you can.
So that I will buy when I see it. Or I might have a client be like, hey, since I was so good to you, would you mind reaching out and getting me a CD? But it's the CDs are gone to the way of the dodo, and it's frightening to me. I hate it. Like, I legitimately bought a CD for something the other day, like a program, got home, and I was like, I can't listen to this on my computer because I don't have a disk drive on my laptop. I've only had the computer for 2.5 years. I didn't realize it was a disk drive. I'm like, well, that sucks. So
nobody uses disk drives anymore.
Right? It's sad because there's no CD player in my car. We have a new to us car we got a year ago, and there's no CD player in it.
No.
It's like I have an 11-year-old Kia that that's my car, and it's got a CD player in it.
Oh, it's got a CD player then.
I can pop CDs in there, and I miss CD players. I do. I like having the little discs, and I can't throw them away. I've got a stack in a book of CDs that I will never listen to again.
I've seen your stack of CDs.
For bands I don't care about. And I'm like, oh, no, what you've seen in the background of my office, that's just the one I have on the shelves. I have one of those 500 CD books that is full. Oh, my gosh. David, I'll never listen to most of those. Like I just,
but you have them just in case.
But I have them. I have no interest in listening to Leanne Rimes' third album. But I can't throw CDs away. I can't bring myself to throw a CD away. I'm like, you can't sell them. Nobody wants to buy them.
No, nobody wants to buy them.
And so sorry. It's a little ridiculous. It's crazy, but yeah. So Harmonious is great. I would definitely suggest listening to that if you can, which is fantastic. Not a lot of news going on this week, but I will just mention just a couple of things. Very quiet, which is nice. Of course, if you lose your car, by the way, Jen, there's a new car locator on the app. You can punch in the word location of your car and the road and everything like that, and it will tell you where your car is. Disney can't do the dining plan, and Genie Plus has got glitches everywhere, but hey, I can find my car in the Epcot parking lot. Let's do that, sure. So,
I mean, hey, that's good.
Any news is good news, I guess.
I suppose we'll take it.
Another iconic sign is being removed at Walt Disney World. Of course, we knew that the Tower of Terror sign, the moving sign, the one with, it hasn't moved in a while, but that big tall sign has now.
It hasn't moved in a while, but it was great when it did.
The signs in the sky, of the bug with the smoke blowing out, the stink bug. That sign's been gone, and other signs have been gone. Mission Space sign is gone now with the ship that was moving, and So it's been gone. They took it down apparently very fast. People were like, it was here yesterday and gone today. And
I saw it last time I was down there.
Yeah, I think they used like internal explosives and they collapsed it. That's probably what happened.
Sure, we'll go with that. Why not?
But anyway, so the Tower of Terror billboard is now gone. Now the Walt Disney World World Drive sign is being removed. So welcome to Walt Disney World sign.
Yes.
Mickey and Minnie at Hotel Plaza Boulevard. So if you are ever staying at the hotel, Disney Springs Hotel area, you'll see it. It's got the big Walt Disney World signs on it with Mickey and Minnie on either side. Now, it's not the main one. It's not the one that everybody wants to take pictures of as you're driving through with this big sign that says, don't stop here. But it is that one by Disney Springs. It's coming down. I don't know why. I don't know what Chip is doing
either.
I take that back. I do know why. They're doing an overpass. They're actually building an overpass in that area to Disney Springs. Okay. And so that's why they're having to remove it.
I mean, that probably needs to happen like from a traffic flow perspective. Yep. So,
it's a good thing.
It's a good thing overall. It's just nostalgia. That's all.
And finally, Jen, I know you're excited about this because I showed this to you earlier, and I know I could just feel
my excitement.
You're in Amish country in Pennsylvania. I'm down here in Alabama in the city, and I could just feel the excitement through the miles. There is now an All-Star Resorts Magic Band.
Available wow!
Available.
I was so excited, I forgot.
Right? It's got little icons on it with sports, music, and movies, and it's really, really cool. The band is available in your Disney app if you want to purchase.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there are only 8 bands available in the Disney app.
Well, there's not a lot available right now.
Not a lot.
That's for sure.
There's that one. There's a Polynesian band. There's like 5 colored bands, and there's like one more.
We have a Grand Floridian band, so.
Well, see, there you go. You wear the Grand Floridian band in October. I'll wear the All-Star band in October. It'll be great. We'll have to get Stephanie a Boardwalk band. She would.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, of course, we don't know when the Magic Band Plus is coming in. We don't know when.
No, that's true.
I got clients emailing me and they're like, "What do I do about Magic Bands?" I'm like, "If you see one you like, order it."
That's what I'm saying. Or if you want to wait to the Magic Band Plus, like if you want to wait and see, like
right.
Because those aren't out yet.
I think that's a good question for the people out there, Jen. If somebody is going in the fall, and Disney has said the Magic Band Plus is coming out this summer. Well, we've only got 6 weeks left officially of summer before Labor Day hits. Summer's halfway over. Over halfway over. It's ridiculous. So if somebody reaches out and they're
triggered.
Like, hey, Jen, a client reaches out and says, "Hey, we're going in the fall. I'm looking online. I see 1 or 2 bands I like. I don't know what to do. Do I order Magic Bands? What do I do? Jen, what are the options for Magic Bands? What do people need to do?"
So honestly, if they see ones they really like, and if they really want Magic Bands, yeah, absolutely. But just know that what you see is what you get. You can order some other ones via Shop Disney. You're not going to get the discount with a resort stay. Right. You can customize some in Disney Springs, but just be aware. I mean, supply chain plus with the transition, there's not a lot of selection.
Right.
The other thing is, if you're not sure, don't feel like you have to order them because Magic Band Plus eventually is going to be released. Perhaps that's something you can take advantage of, but you can also use your Key to the World card. You can also use your phone. They have that ability. So don't panic. It's not like, oh my gosh, I don't have a Magic Band. I can't do anything. No, you do have options. In fact, I always carry my Magic Bands because I like them, but I can now use my watch as my Magic Band.
Right.
So true. I could scan in with that. And yes, that works for everything. It's kind of nice having it on your phone because you got your phone with you anyway.
Right.
So
right. I'm not a fan of using it on my phone only because I'm using the phone for so much stuff.
Sure, and I can totally see that.
I'd rather have I like the band on my wrist. I like being able to just move my hand and scan the band, and there it is. The ticket is fine, except you got to pull it out of your pocket all the time. You can wear a lanyard with a pouch on it, put your ticket in there.
You can do that. That's old school.
For children, it might be harder for them because a 3, 4, or 5-year-old might be prone to pulling on it and ripping on it or whatever. That pouch will come off, so be careful about that.
For sure.
But yeah, you're right. If you see a band you like, I tell my clients, I tell my people, just order it. If you see one you like,
just go
ahead and order it.
Yeah.
Know that tomorrow you may look and see bands you like even better. Also know that tomorrow you may look and see the band you like today is gone.
It's gone.
So it is a matter of just whatever. And if you decide you don't know what to do when you get there, and you get there with your tickets and you're like, you know what, maybe we should get Magic Bands, go to any resort, go to Disney Springs. They'll have bands there.
There might not be a huge selection.
But you can pick a band there and take it to the counter. When you purchase, the cast member can move all the information you need and attach it to your account right there.
Yes.
So make sure that you're set up right there as we go. When you check in, if you have bands that you previously brought from trips, I would say if it's the curved band, if it's the straight band that has no curve in the middle, Don't use that. That band is old. I've seen some bands like that, and people are like,
"Oh, that one.
Going, what about this band?"
Yeah,
I'm like,
no, those
that
are
band
so old at this point. The batteries are probably dead, so like they just legit probably won't.
But if you have some bands from a couple years ago, maybe you took a trip 2 or 3 years ago, they're probably going to work. Take them with you and go when you check in. I always tell my people, and I always do this too. I know you can do online check-in and go straight to your room. I like going to the front desk because I like to talk to the cast members saying, hey, can you check everything on there? I want to set up my PIN code now. Can you check, make sure all the tickets are on there, make sure everything's set up correctly? Is it okay, cool. Let me change that real quick. Perfect. We're set up. They can do the bands right there and say, you know what? I want to move this stuff from my ticket to my Magic Band. They'll set it up for you. All good.
Yeah.
All good.
Awesome.
So, easy peasy. So I was surfing the Twitters today in my break when I was on hold with Disney, and just killing a bit of time, looking for stuff and look and see what kind of trouble I can get into on Twitter because it's the cesspool of life. And somebody had a tweet that I found very fascinating. Okay. The tweet simply was, "What is your Mount Rushmore of Disney legends?" And it says excluding Roy and Walt. Of course, everybody would say
of
Roy
course,
and Walt.
because everybody would say that.
But what are the 4 Disney legends? And when I say Mount Rushmore, that means the epitome of the topic of the Disney legends. For whatever reason, whatever purpose, the 4 that you would put on a big statue in front of Walt Disney World that says these 4 represent the best that Disney history and people have to offer. And then I thought, you know what? What if we did that with the parks? What if we talked about each park? Okay. We'll talk about all 4 parks here, and even Disneyland and California Adventure. And we're going to do kind of a little Rushmore assignment with the parks. Okay. And this can go. We'll do attractions. Okay. We're going to do kind of icons or structures, like the buildings, the structures, or whatever of each park that you would go on there. It is your choice. If an icon, say Tower of Terror, also is a ride, it's your choice as to whether to put it on which one you want. You can't put it on both statues because in our little fantasy, as you're going into Disney World, each park, there are 2 Mount Rushmores, one at each side, one that has the attractions on there and one that has the icons on there.
I'm kind of nervous about this one. I'm not going to lie.
Do what?
I'm kind of nervous about this one. I'm not going to lie.
It's going to be fun, I think.
No, it's going to be fun.
We'll do the Disney Legends at the very, very end. And this can be past, present, either one. Whatever you think fully represents. We'll do Magic Kingdom first. The 4 that represent Magic Kingdom for whatever reason. Okay. So we'll do one at a time here. Jen, give me the first one on your Magic Kingdom Mount Rushmore. What would be the statue? What would be on the statue?
So we just figured this out, guys. So this does not have to be in any particular order, right? Because I did not put these in any order. Okay. So the first one I grabbed I'm sorry, we said this is the attraction one, or is this the icon one?
This is the attraction one.
Attraction. Okay. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates. Okay. Okay. Any reason?
I feel like it was one. So because I know the history of it, and it was one that was demanded because it was so popular over in Disneyland.
Right.
And, it is one of, not original. It's not original, but it is like such an early attraction. And it is so iconic in and of itself. I feel like that's one of the ones people talk about, like, I want to go and I'm going to ride Pirates of the Caribbean. That's one of Brady and I, that's one of our must do's, even though I don't like it as well as the one in Disneyland. I still think it's, I think it qualifies as an iconic attraction.
Right. And we can have crossover here. So don't feel like, you're taking one. I can't do Pirates anymore. I actually have Pirates on my list.
Okay.
I debated. My first one is, I'm going to say Carousel of Progress.
Good one.
Carousel of Progress, because I feel as if, and I'm really looking into the history as a whole of Magic Kingdom, which is why you're not going to find Seven Dwarfs Mine Train on there. As fabulous as this is, we're going to revisit this topic probably on episode like 834 in about 15, 16 years.
And then you're going to say like,
and then we'll say, we'll say, Tron and Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, because now really Universal and Disney have merged into one massive theme park all the way down I-4. But got to see the monorail down to Hogwarts Castle, which, by the way, a lot of clients would be like, see, I told you that existed. Carousel of Progress is something that Walt envisioned. Of course, it was at the World's Fair in '64, and it's one of those, like, it's not a thrill ride, and it's one of those that just people go to. Like, you can tell the Disney lovers from the people who just want to go ride rides. Yeah. From the people who go to Carousel Progress. And I feel like Carousel Progress really epitomizes Magic Kingdom as a whole. So Carousel Progress is my first one on there. What's your second one on your Magic Kingdom Rushmore?
Second one on my Rushmore is, go with me on this one, Dumbo.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
You know what? And not because is it a thrill ride? Absolutely not. But what is that ride? Like, I want to take my kids to go see Dumbo. I remember being on Dumbo with my mother as a child. So I think that's just one of those family experiences.
Nice.
That's one that's often even featured in, some of the Disney, literature, but as well as like advertisements, because that is very iconic. The flying elephants, so family friendly. I still enjoy riding them occasionally. It's just an interesting perspective. So, but for no other reason than I do feel like it's very iconic. And there are a lot of people who have memories around Dumbo.
I like it. Okay. So my second one is going to be Small World.
Okay.
And I went back and forth on this because that and Carousel of Progress were both at the World's Fair. And I'm like,
absolutely.
Both of them on there. I'm not really sure. But again, Small World is one of those that Walt was so passionate about. Such a big deal. He made such a big deal of that. And I feel like it's just something that, again, is iconic. And I don't honestly care for Small World that much. But I go because you have to. You have to ride Small World when you're there.
Sure.
It's one of those things. As a Disney fan, you do Small World.
Yeah.
And if you miss it this time, then you have to make sure you do it next time. It's that mental box of lists of rides in your head. You're like, okay, we're at Disney World. What have we not done? Haunted Mansion, Dumbo. We got to ride this. Okay, you know what? You might not ride Barnstormer. You might not get to Astro Orbiter. Most of the time, I don't. But you're gonna get to Small World. You're gonna get Small World.
Right.
So I got Carousel of Progress and Small World. What is the third on your Attraction Mount Rushmore of Magic Kingdom?
Got Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Interesting.
Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I think, again, the wildest ride in the wilderness. It's such a great coaster, like kind of an entry level coaster for kids, I guess, a little bit.
Right.
And I mean, it's just something that seems to span the ages there. Obviously you got the iconic look of it as well, but I think that's just one that sort of that spans, and it's another one of those. Oh, I think about that when I think about Disney World.
Nice, very nice. I like that. I like that. I you might hear me talk about that in a few minutes, but not on this one. My third one is going to be Jungle Cruise. And again, I have to go back to the history of Walt. I have to go back to this is the last attraction he worked on, and his whole thing, which is kind of funny that he wanted real animals to be in Jungle Cruise.
He did.
Which they couldn't sustain it in 19.
Yeah, that was not a possibility then.
Obviously, we have Animal Kingdom now, so there was a way to do it, but it would take 35 years of technology before they actually were able to put that together and make it happen. And so Jungle Cruise, I think it's a Frontierland ride. I think it's great. I just think it's a shining example of Walt's ingenuity and imagination, because he loved the wilderness, loved the wild. So far you've got Pirates, Dumbo, Big Thunder. What's the fourth one rounding out your four on Magic Kingdom?
Ooh, okay. So my fourth is, for all the reasons you just stated, Jungle Cruise.
Nice.
I think it's very iconic. Walt loved it. He worked on it, the real animals. And also at night, when you got a good skipper, that's a great time right there.
Nice.
And it's full of dad jokes.
That's why I love it. That's why Kyla always elbows me, and whenever we're riding it, we're sitting by each other. And you're like, "Kid, stop it!" I'm like, "Mom, she's doing it."
She's doing it again.
So my fourth one, I actually had one here that I think, like, I literally just moved to the icon list, and I think I'm gonna put in, and I took this one off the icon list and put here. In terms of attractions, in terms of rides.
I had a couple I went back and forth on too. So
I'm gonna put the railroad. The Walt Disney World Railroad.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm mad I didn't think about it.
Yeah, I'm
really mad I didn't think about that.
I had that on the train station as an icon, but I moved it to railroad to this because, again, and I keep going back to Walt because Magic Kingdom is Walt's park. Magic Kingdom is what Walt wanted. And as the other parks we'll get to, there won't be quite as much Walt influence. But on this one, it's all Walt Disney. I think that the train station. Not the train station. Well, the train station, I guess, really epitomizes his love of trains. I mean, you have the.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
We're now like at 2,000 days since the train banned.
Oh my gosh, it's so long.
I couldn't keep up with the list anymore. I was trying to keep a number of days, and I couldn't even keep up with it anymore. It's been so long. Hopefully, our long nightmare is almost over. So mine is Small World, Carousel of Progress, The Train, Jungle Cruise. Yours is Pirates, Dumbo, Big Thunder, and the Jungle Cruise. Let's move to icons. Now,
icons. Okay.
Do we both agree? Do we want to say Cinderella's Castle automatically goes on each of ours? Or do we want to say, because that's so ubiquitous, let's just set that aside and not do that because that's just too easy?
Oh, that's a tough one. Because I put it on there, but you're right. It is really ubiquitous.
Well, the thing is, with this one in Epcot, obviously we know what the icon's going to be.
Yeah.
However, Hollywood and Animal Kingdom might be more.
Those are hard. Honestly, those have been harder, and I'm still struggling a little bit with my last one.
So do we want to go ahead and just say, you know what, Cindy's on there. Let's just leave it on there.
Let's just leave. You know what?
Okay,
Let's leave this one on there.
Good, because that's what.
All
right. So I'll start with this one. Cinderella's Castle. We'll put on there. Obviously, it goes without saying it's Cinderella's Castle. So let's just leave it there. My next one, and I'm thinking like if you're looking at a Rushmore, you're almost looking at a silhouette. You have to find something what is definitive, what can be recognized. Space Mountain. Space Mountain
yes,
is easily recognized because you can see it for contemporary. You can see when you see the outline on a pin. Even when you're walking by a cast member, you see it on a pin. You're like, oh, that's Space Mountain. It's got that dome with little spires on the top and everything. This was almost a ride on my Rushmore, but I was like, yeah, well, let me go with the Icon because the shape is so just ubiquitous and just known. So your first one for your Icon.
My first one for my Icon. So we're not talking about the castle, right?
Castle's done.
We're just not going to talk. Okay, that's done.
So we got three thoughts.
Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion.
Which is why I did not make my attraction list.
Okay.
Because it is so iconic and it's so different from Disney lands.
Yep.
But it has that very distinct look, very imposing. So that is definitely one of my icons.
Nice. I also had Haunted Mansion.
Did you?
Because of that tall shape and everything. And it's one of those because the backstories of all these rides are so fun, but the backstory of Haunted Mansion is so much fun with Claude Coates and Mark Davis and their little tiffs and how they wanted to present it. So you have a ride that is really two rides in one because it's completely different. Halfway through it changes course completely, it becomes comical. There's just all the little things to Haunted Mansion. So much history there. I can just see with the Space Mountain, the spires, and there's Haunted Mansion just like all stacked up there. So, all right. So I guess what's your next one there? Because I've got Haunted Mansion, and so what's your next one?
Space Mountain.
Oh, well, there you go.
So which I should have already mentioned. But I mean, how do you not mention that one? So do you want me to go to my fourth one, or do you want to? Yeah. Enchanted Tiki Room.
Nice. Okay.
Because again, that was one that Walt was also very involved with. He wanted the birds to breathe. He saw I don't remember where he was, but he was at a World's Fair or at something, and he saw this little mechanical bird, and it sparked this whole idea for him with the Tiki Room, and he was fascinated by it. So I mean, you can see pictures of him, with like a stick up, like waking up the birds. So I just think, and it does have a very interesting and iconic look. I probably could have also chosen the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, but I feel like it's probably a little more iconic for them.
Well, that, and I think the treehouse is being changed, I believe.
In Disney World, it didn't say that.
Maybe it's Disneyland, one or the other.
Land is being changed. But it was already changed once. It went from that to Tarzan's Treehouse.
Well, Tarzan's Treehouse, but also they're talking about doing like Encanto. That's the rumor.
Well, no, but I'm saying Tarzan is what they're switching it to something else.
Because I thought about that. I also thought about Splash Mountain too, but that's also changing. And we don't
I thought about that too, but because we don't know what it'll end up. So that's why I left that one off.
So my fourth one is going to be Big Thunder Mountain.
Oh, okay.
Because of the spires and the rocks and everything, Big Thunder Mountain. I feel like, especially, and I'm imagining like this rock formation with the spires and a little rock train kind of sitting in the front of it, I almost had this as a ride, but I can see just the facade of this. Because this is something that just looms large as you're walking through the parks. It
does.
Towards Virginia, there's that big mountain, whatever.
Absolutely.
So definitely, I think that's great. So Magic Kingdom, for your Mount Rushmore in attractions, you've got Pirates, Dumbo, Big Thunder, and Jungle Cruise. Yep. I've got Small World, Carousel, Haunted Mansion, and Train Station and Jungle Cruise.
Yep.
For our icons, I've got Space, Big Thunder, Cinderella's Castle, and Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion was the one, by the way, I moved off of my ride.
You moved off? Okay.
That's the one I moved. And I switched that in the train station. And you have Space, Tiki Room, Cindy's Castle, and Haunted Mansion. Let's turn our attention now to a more recent one, Animal Kingdom.
Oh, you had to throw to the one where I'm still looking for a fourth, but it's okay.
Absolutely.
I got this.
That's going to be a little more difficult. So
this one is hard. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I think this one's hard.
There's several of them that can like basically be two things.
And that's why it's hard.
Right. So, okay. So I'm going to let's just start with the attractions. I'm going to start with the easy one and say Kilimanjaro Safari. I feel like that is that's an attraction that is so unique to Animal Kingdom. And I feel like if that attraction does not get built or doesn't work, Animal Kingdom loses something. We can lose Triceratops Spin. We lost Primeval Whirl, and it's fine.
We did lose
that, and I think there's something missing. Something, that's a people eater. That's a 25-minute attraction.
Yes.
You're missing a big something. But I think that's going to be an attraction that I think that is just history of Animal Kingdom is going to go down with Kilimanjaro Safari. So that's my first one on my attraction list. What is yours?
Spoiler alert. Kilimanjaro Safaris.
Kilimanjaro Safaris. Very nice.
Because I think like that has to be. That has to be on there. Like that is really this a central piece. You can't say the central piece, but that is a central piece for the entire park. I mean, you see so many animals. It takes you through like the savannas and everything. So yeah.
Right. So this is where it gets hard because obviously there's a couple of attractions that are also icons, that are also structures, and you're like, what do I do with this? And
I'm struggling.
If I put this on this list, then
I can't put it on this list.
Exactly.
And because it has to be a ride or attraction, there's other things you can't use, like
that's really,
those
really
beautiful
tough.
floating mountains in Pandora. That doesn't count because that's not a ride or attraction, even though it's iconic.
Right. But so you could say that as an icon. I mean, it's the structure itself or whatever.
Well, that's true. That's true.
So I am going to say Flight of Passage as an attraction.
Okay.
Again, it's probably one of the newest ones we'll even talk about in this whole entire thing. But again, it changes the face of Animal Kingdom. It takes Animal Kingdom a different direction because just of what it is. It's when it first came out, everybody was blown away by it.
Oh my gosh, I was there. It was like, nuts.
Holy crap. I mean, yeah.
Freaking nuts.
Even now, and it says something about a ride that like 5 years later, you still have to be there before the park opens to even get a chance to get on it, or you just pay for it. I mean, it's just that popular.
I mean, you can get on it, just like such a long wait.
And it's a ride that goes through the theming because people who don't care about Avatar still love the ride.
Absolutely.
So, so I'm picturing a Na'vi on a Banshee, or my guy going, you can fly.
I can see the
Sivaka. All right, what's next on your icon list?
All right, next on
your attraction list.
Well, just because you mentioned, I'll go with it. Flight of Passage. That was another one of mine. So I have a feeling we might have very similar ones here, if for no other reason than that's kind of how this park rolls.
So what do? I mean, it's So now I'm going back and forth. I'm gonna go with. What do I do here? Do I go with Primeval Whirl?
But it's not. Oh, well, we did say it could be past. Okay, we did say it could be past.
Yeah, it could be past. But I'm trying to think of how many there used to be there that aren't there anymore. That's the whole thing. Okay, so I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Tarzan Rocks. It's an attraction.
Okay.
I'm going to say that only because that was one of the first big musicals that was in the parks. They paved the way. I think it paved the way for the Lion King show.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you for sure which one opened first, but I think that show paved the way, obviously, for Nemo. I know I never saw it, but I know a lot of people that loved Tarzan Rocks. So just for historical purposes, because it was an opening day attraction, or right there towards the beginning, I'm going to say Tarzan Rocks. I'm saying it very hesitantly. I'm afraid you're going to say something. I'm going to be like, crap, I should have thought of that. But I'm going to go with Tarzan Rocks as my attraction.
Do you know what I wrote down 20 seconds before you said that?
Tarzan Rocks.
Tarzan Rocks.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, past attraction. I was like, oh, I loved Tarzan Rocks. That's a great one. I promise you, I wrote that down before you said anything.
I believe you. That's awesome. Okay, so my last one here, and I'll go ahead and do my final.
Go ahead, do it.
I've got Safari. I've got Tarzan Rocks.
Yeah.
I've got Pandora.
Yep.
I don't know that you're gonna have this one.
Okay.
And I'm doing it as an attraction, sort of an attraction, but because of what we're doing here, it's gonna have to work because I miss it. I'm gonna say the Jammin Jungle Parade.
Okay. No, I can go with you on that.
It was Animal Kingdom's really only.
That was their only parade.
Only parade. It was so much fun. The puppetry was so cool.
Okay.
And you see a lot of the puppetry now in the Nemo show.
In the Nemo show, right.
With the stilt walkers also, you had the floats and everything. And they had the Jammin Jingle Parade over Christmas time, which I saw both and just loved it. So I'm going to say the Jammin Jungle Parade, again, with some hesitancy. Because, again, you might say something and I'll be like, oh. So what do you have on your list?
I'm actually going with Dinosaur.
I thought about that.
See, so not because I necessarily think it's a fabulous attraction. It's good. But I do think it is iconic. It was there. I do believe it was their opening day because, as I recall, their sponsor was McDonald's. I know because one of my friends, her dad owns a McDonald's, and so like you see the pipes in there, and it's red, yellow, and white. That's ketchup, mustard, mayo, and the writing on it is the chemical formulas.
Yeah. Yep.
So I do think that because that's been around so long, and just there is that whole like little dinosaur area. They got the like dinos out front, and I don't know. I feel like it would be an iguanodon on Mount Rushmore, but because that was one of the original park areas as well. But that kind
and they're back plus one passenger.
Plus one passenger.
Okay, so,
extra large.
So now we're going to go to our icon list, and this might be a little easier because what we put on our attractions, I think you and I are going to have a lot of the same.
We're going to have a lot of the same.
Tree of Life is the same,
and we are going to just agree that can stay on.
I'm assuming you also have Everest on yours.
100%, and I struggled because I wanted to put that on the other one, but this has to be an icon.
It's really hard because that mountain is such an icon of the park itself.
It is.
I see that mountain. It's funny because whenever I'm flipping channels or I see not flipping channels, scrolling through Instagram again when I'm home at Disney. And I come across somebody who's actually, in the Himalayas, maybe in a mountain. They're like, I just climbed Everest or blah, blah. I mean, I don't come across somebody that I know did that, but none of my friends are that excited.
Really?
But I come across a picture or whatever.
Well, Mikey might climb Everest.
My first thought is like, Animal Kingdom. Oh, no, that's the real Everest. Or I see a picture of a Parisian street. I'm like, oh, that's Epcot. Oh, no, that's really Paris.
That's Paris.
Like, I automatically think it's really actually Disney. So Everest, I'm assuming you have Everest on there.
I do.
My next one is going to be the floating mountains in Pandora.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I'm going to say the floating mountains.
That was the fourth one I wrote.
Did you have that on your list as well?
Because I was like, oh no, it has to be an attraction. And you're like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, oh good.
Yes, exactly.
It's going back down.
Floating mountains because again, Pandora's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful. I love it. And you can just have a triangular shaped rock on your Rushmore, and if you know, you'll get it.
Yeah.
So, what is your last one on your icon list?
This is weird. You're gonna have to go with me on this one.
Okay, I'll go with you. What we got?
Chester and Hester's Dino-Rama.
That's not a bad idea.
But I mean, it is iconic. It's kitschy.
Great. It's kitschy. But I wish they do more with it.
I do too.
I feel like they've abandoned the entire concept.
I agree.
Done anything with it?
Yeah.
Because there's a whole backstory as to why Chester and Hester.
But like you could do so much with it.
Yep.
So I put that on there.
So we both have on our attraction list. And I'll get to my last one in a second. We both have the Safari. We both have Tarzan Rocks. We both have Pandora Flight of Passage, and I have the Jammin Jungle Parade, and you had Dinosaur.
Yes.
For our icons, we both have Everest. We both have the Floating Mountains. We both have Tree of Life. You have Chester and Hester. I've got Aladar, the dinosaur that sits out in front of the dinosaur, and so really it's Countdown to Extinction is what I'm kind of representing.
Because that was the original countdown to
and then Disney was like,
which I love that theme song.
As they were trying to get into the whole IP thing, they were like, hey, we have this great new movie coming out. Look at this great attraction. And when the movie went at the box office, they're like, hey, we'll just change it to Dinosaur, not worry about Countdown to Extinction. So that's kind of why I have that. So there's your
okay.
Let's talk a little Hollywood Studios.
Hollywood
Studios. So now we've got to do our park attractions and our icons. So this should be fun. All right. So Jen, why don't you go first with your attractions?
Okay. So with my attractions, the first one I grabbed. So honestly, this one is challenging for me. I'm going to pick up the Great Movie Ride.
Okay.
In its heyday, I need to specify, not at the end. Okay. But
back when everything worked.
When everything worked and when the cast members were like on point, that's the one I'm picking up. Okay. So Great Movie Ride was so iconic. I understand it was time for it to go, but I did love it. Yeah. So, it was really good. And because like Grauman's Chinese was supposed to be the center point of the whole thing, so they had that attraction in there, and it was like celebration of the movies, which was the original intent of Hollywood Studios, was to kind of be a working studio. So,
and for a while it actually was.
And it actually was correct.
Was their thing.
Correct.
So my first one here is going to be Tower of Terror.
Okay.
And you would think, oh, well, didn't they go on an icon list? Well, maybe not for me. So Tower of Terror, I think, is one of the ones that everybody thinks of automatically when they think of Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
With the big looming tower and just the way it was put together. Of course, we had McNair and Wilson on. He told us how he kind of helped build Tower of Terror, which is an incredible story. Episode number 2 and number 18, I believe.
Yeah, he was on twice. Yes.
Only because we referenced him 2 weeks ago, but with skywalking. But yeah, Tower is just I think that's one of those attractions that you can't mess with. I know they changed it over in Disneyland, California Adventure. I don't think they'll do that.
I don't think they can do that here.
I don't think they can. I think it's like a Peter Pan ride. It's so ingrained now. you can't change it. You just
Yeah,
can't.
I agree.
So Tower of Terror, I think, is going to be on my attractions. What's your next attraction?
My next attraction, interestingly enough, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which replaced the great movie ride. I love this attraction. It has all the whimsy of the original, even though it's new animation, it's the whimsy of the original Mickey Mouse cartoons. And I feel like it really is a nice blend of a classic attraction with new technology. And I think it sort of has brought that forefront. Right. And so I feel like at this point, that's a good representation of Hollywood Studios.
Okay. Yeah. I like the idea of having a great movie ride on there too. I was thinking about that, going back and forth on that. So my attraction, my next on my attraction list is going to be Star Tours.
Oh, okay. Good one.
I was going to go with Rise of the Resistance, but the reason I went with Star Tours is I feel like that was the first Star Wars ride, the first one really, and I'm going to kind of let that one be representative for the Star Wars universe. And I know it's not in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time I rode Star Tours, like in 2004, I think, on my honeymoon. As a Star Wars fan, I was blown away because I'm like, C-3PO, Rex is talking to me, and we're flying through all these different planets and stuff. And this is before The Force Awakens was even thought of. This is we're in the Phantom Menace phase and the whole trilogy and everything like that. Right. And it was just the coolest ride. And I got to ride it like 3 or 4 times on the same trip, and like it changed every time. And I was like, this is amazing.
Like, what the heck? This is great.
This is so cool. I'm pod racing. Now this is pod racing. So cool. So I'm going to go with Star Tours on that. Again, I wanted to put rides on there, but I got to go with Star Tours. So what is your third one on your list?
Well, since you just mentioned it, I'll go ahead and go with Rise because again, even though that's a newer attraction, I feel like, and I could never put that down on Icons because I don't think the outside looks iconic, but the inside is so incredible. Right. And I just think it's like, that is your must do. That is the flight of passage of Hollywood Studios. It still has like super long lines, all of that. So that's where I'm at.
Nice. My next one is going to be Toy Story Mania. I think because that was Hollywood Studios' real first foray into Pixar. Okay. And it's wildly successful, incredibly successful because absolutely so much to that. So, one of my favorite attractions all the way around, like probably top 3 or 4 attractions. And even, they moved the entrance from Pixar Pier or Pixar Place to now Toy Story Land. I feel like they didn't mess with the attraction because it's just too iconic. People love Toy Story Mania. And it's just like, again, it's one of those that I ride every time I go. I don't care how long the line is. We got to ride Toy Story Mania. It's just, it is what it is. And, my wife always beats me on Buzz. I always beat her on Toy Story Mania. I don't know why. So I'm just picturing a rock formation with my Star Tours, my tower, and there's that little gun with little thing right there, and it's always the break those plates, and you always come out with a sore arm. Plates. I feel like they should have one of those, like when you go to the mall and you have the masseuses in the mall for like $5. You need one of those right there at the exit queue for $10. Get in the chair and they will work on that arm real quick.
That people would 100% pay that.
Heck yeah, especially if you put like a little air-conditioned little hut there.
I mean, my thing is you use the 2 fingers.
Yes.
Not the full fist. It's
Yep, I love it. Okay, so next on your list, you've got Runaway Railway. You've got the Great Movie Ride. You've got Rise of the Resistance. What's your last one on your list?
I'm going to say, and this one's tough. I'm gonna say Slinky Dog Dash.
Okay.
And again, it's odd because like I was really between this and like Rock and Roller Coaster.
Okay.
But and I love Rock and Roller Coaster. I don't know, but for some reason, I just feel like Slinky Dog Dash would go. I think it encompasses, again, it's a great family ride. It's more than you expect, but it's so whimsical and cute. And I just think that Toy Story deserves to be represented on my icons.
I like it.
On my attractions.
So for my final attraction, Toy Story Mania, Tower of Terror, Star Tours, I'm going to say Fantasmic.
Oh, okay.
Fantasmic because
the dragon head,
Mickey, Sorcerer Mickey. It was like I think it was one of Mickey's first real attractions on his own.
I think so.
He led the whole thing. A little weird. The whole Pocahontas thing kind of threw me out. It's not even a show that I would go to every single time.
And it's Peter Pan over in Disneyland, which is strange.
And so and I'm waiting for them to bring it back. Hopefully they'll bring it back new and improved or whatever. But again, Sorcerer Mickey is one of those, and this almost went for icons for me, but I didn't know how to work this into an icon because it's an attraction more than anything else. But I just think it's one of those shows that people flock to see, and people will flock to, like crazy to see this show. They will line up, and I remember sitting, this is one of those that we would pay the $60 for the special seating for Tasmanic. We learned the hard way: don't sit in the first 5 or 6 rows because you will get soaked from the mist flying through the water. That's no fun.
Yep.
But yeah, so Fantasmic is my last one on my list. So now we move to the icons of the park.
Okay.
And I will start, and this is going to be, I went back and forth in this, little dicey on this. I'm going to say the Sorcerer's Hat as an icon of the park. I'm fine with the Sorcerer's Hat not being there. However, if they had decided to leave it there, I would not have a problem with it because they were going to have it up for just a couple of years. Then, of course, a recession forced them to keep it up. Mm-hmm. And it was there for so long. There were so many people that went to Disney. That's all they ever knew was a Sorcerer's Hat. Now I'm kind of getting to that phase now where people are going to Disney and they're so used to not seeing it. But for a long while, that's
what you saw.
Yeah, and it's such an easy thing to say there's the Sorcerer's Hat and the wand, and it's Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to say the Sorcerer's Hat over the other 15 icons that they've had for Hollywood Studios. I'm going to say Sorcerer's.
I'm not mad about that. I didn't think about that, or I would have put it on.
What's your first one? I'm
going to go with the obvious one, which is Tower of Terror, because they do often use that, and it's like my favorite ride in the park. I struggled not to put it on the ride, but I wanted to put it on the icons. So
nice. Yeah. Okay. So my next one is going to be Troy Bolton from the High School Musical pep rally. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
My face. What?
Taking it all the way back to 2007. They actually did have that, by the way.
I know. I was there. I got stuck behind it one time, and I had to heard the High School Musical whatever forever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody help me.
So next one on my list here is going to be the Millennium Falcon.
Good one.
I think that is the newest icon of the park. I think it is something that is just, it's magnificent, and grown men shedding tears when they walk through that park and around that corner, and there is the Falcon sitting there looking all beautiful and awesome. It's just like,
absolutely.
And it's just one of those, again, as a lifelong Star Wars fan, 10 years ago, if you told me I'm going to get to not only see the Millennium Falcon life size, I'm also going to get to drive the Millennium Falcon, pilot it.
Yeah.
What? I mean, it's just, it's, and it's just the ride itself, it's probably it's a B+ ranking for me. It could be better. It could be a lot worse, but it could be better. Yeah. But just the experience of the Millennium Falcon, and I think that is a great, iconic symbol for Hollywood Studios and what it represents now.
Absolutely.
So, next on your list.
So I'll keep it. I guess I'll keep it in the same vein. I want to go to a different one, but it's fine. I wrote Galaxy's Edge, and by that I meant the spires.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Of like Black Spire Outpost, which is of course behind, near the Falcon. And I thought about putting the Falcon on there, but I thought the spires, I don't know. It was like those are iconic. You could see those being built almost before like anything else. So but I wanted to include Star Wars in there because I feel like that was really important.
Do you think enough people recognize the spires, though? Not to discount what you've got.
I debated that. If you're a Star Wars fan, you do.
Maybe. Well, I'm just thinking, like, if you saw just a silhouette of all of these, could you?
You'd probably have to put the Falcon in the middle. It would probably have to be the spires with the Falcon in the middle, or with like Chewie in the middle.
Unless somebody told you it was Magic Kingdom, you could look at a silhouette of Big Thunder Mountain and be like, "Is that Galaxy's Edge? Wait, no. Is that big? Is that Seven Dwarfs Mine Train? What is that?" So I get it. The next one on my list, I'm gonna put the Miss Piggy water fountain.
Oh, I love that.
Only because, to me, this obviously represents the Muppets.
Yeah.
And it's, maybe I'm cheating a little bit because we're trying to represent the best of the Hollywood Studios, and I feel like the Muppets can be the best of Hollywood Studios. They just haven't allowed it.
No,
they just haven't allowed it to happen yet, unfortunately.
Agreed.
So I'm going to say it's the Piggy water fountain, only because really that's. I want them to do so much more with the Muppets. I'm just like, please do more of the Muppets. So that's my wishful thinking. Josh, I know you're listening to this. Come on, seriously, they're right. You own them. And people would be so happy. Okay, Jen, next.
I'm picking Gertie.
Gertie, I thought about that.
Dinosaur Gertie. Yeah. She is. Hello, Echo Lake. You go in. That is something, we have her in the Christmas hats. I know, but since we're talking icons and not attractions, I can use her.
Right.
She is so iconic. And you can get ice cream in her sometimes.
I like that.
When it's open.
I like it. So I was going back and forth, and the reason I picked the Sorcerer's Head is I was looking for an icon. I thought about the Eiffel Tower, and the Eiffel Tower actually was what I had on my list originally just now, but then I thought, well, I've already got one iconic logo on there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with and I don't remember the name of it. Basically, it's the animation studio that they had. The working animation studio.
Yeah, I know.
You see on the backlot tour, you can see whatever that's called. That, because that is what Hollywood Studios used to be, was a working studio.
Yes.
And I remember being on the backlot tour, and they would take you through those shops, and you actually could look into the windows.
Oh yeah,
and there were people that were drawing, and
they were
one
animating.
of the guys was like, we're working on a new movie, blah blah blah. I don't remember what movie it was.
Oh, I have pictures of like it was Tangled, and it was Princess and the Frog with Tangled was called Rapunzel.
Yeah, and like there was,
I have pictures.
Whoever the driver guy, cast member was like, and if you look to the left, there is an animator, blah, blah, that is a real animator, and he's working on some movie. And I'm like, I just saw a preview of the movie coming out in 5 years. I mean, it's like a 1 second still shot, but still, I just saw it.
But I just saw it.
It was cool. So the animation department, I don't know how you put that as an icon, but like a pen.
I'll go with it.
We'll go with that.
Paint. We'll go with it.
Yep. What's your fourth one?
Well, I'm going to represent the Eiffel Tower for us because I did feel like that needed to be represented. It was, part of the backlot tour. I was so sad when they tore it down.
Nice.
So sad.
Okay, so to recap on what we've got now, we have for the attractions, you have the Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, the Great Movie Ride, Rise of the Resistance, and Slinky Dog Dash. On my Rushmore of Hollywood Studios, I have Toy Story Mania, Tower of Terror, Star Tours, and Fantasmic. The icons, or the structures that you think represent the Hollywood Studios at its best: Tower of Terror, the Black Spires from Galaxy's Edge, Gertie the dinosaur, and you just said Eiffel Tower. I scribbled on ear, and it's all scribbly.
Oh yeah.
And then I've got the Piggy Water Fountain. I've got the Art and Animation Department, the Sorcerer's Hat, and the Millennium Falcon. So now we get to Epcot, and this one might be a little more challenging.
This is a little harder.
There's a lot to Epcot. There's an awful lot.
There's a lot to Epcot.
So I don't know where you're going to put Spaceship Earth or your icon or your attraction, so we'll find out here. Jen, why don't you kick us off with your first attraction for the park?
I am picking the original Journey into Imagination with Figment, but the original one with the Dreamfinder.
I like that.
Because that opening attraction, basically, it was planned already. The Dreamfinder was already in the park. It was created for Epcot.
Right.
Literally, that's where Figment comes from. And I have to honor and we've heard my opinions on the current version, but the original version,
your opinions on the current version are basically everybody's opinions on the current version.
Correct.
I think that's not anything.
Yeah, it's not unique to me. But I had to include this one.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I'm also going to put Journey to Imagination, the original Figment.
Oh, nice.
Because which makes no sense to me that they won't do more with this, because Figment, they use Figment as an icon, so it's not like
they
do
the
Muppets where they barely use them. Figment's the icon of
literally
one of the festivals.
It's Festival of the Arts for sure.
Whatever, and it's like, what the heck, And so why they don't do more with this? It's one of those mysteries to me. Like, just put the original Figment. You don't have to bring back the Dreamfinder, but like I'm imagining. Like in Disneyland or California Adventure with Mission Breakout, where they've got Rocket the animatronic running across the top there, telling a story, whatever. Could they not do that with? Imagine a Figment like that, and not an annoying Figment, but a Figment in the queue just popping its head up and talking.
Be amazing.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be
Let's do that.
amazing.
Let's do that. So, what's next on your list?
Okay, so I picked. I'm sure we're gonna share this one. Probably Soarin'. My preference would be over California, but I can live with Soarin' around the world. Just because I feel like, that's one of your top ones. That's one of the ones you run to. It's one of the ones I run to. So Soarin'.
Nice. I've got Test Track on mine.
Okay.
I think it's one of those attractions and the original Test Track, not the Tron track, not the
yes, the very
original Test Track where you got the guy going, did somebody remember to turn off that acid spray? Where you got the people going back and forth, and you've got all the hidden Mickeys in the queue, and you got the pumps and the gears and everything and whatever. Love that. Love how much fun that is, and it's. Even if you don't care for the attraction itself, that 60-mile-an-hour run that takes a minute and a half towards that's just pretty cool. That's really cool. So,
that's great.
So we're gonna go with Test Track on mine. What's your next one?
Test Track.
Test Track.
For all the same reasons, and I agree with the original Test Track as opposed to the neon version.
And I also had Soarin' on mine.
Okay.
I did put Soarin' on there, and this is tough because I feel like I'm leaving out World Showcase altogether on all of these, but I had to go with Soarin' because it is the Soarin' over California, not around the world.
Okay.
No Big Eiffel Tower, but the original Soarin' with Nice Work Pal and the orange smell and the golf ball and all of that.
Yes.
Even if you go back to the original where you have the little flake on the screen that kind of does this on
That's
the
fine.
screen,
I can deal with it.
That. We'll take it.
I'll take it.
So what's your last one on your list?
This was hard because it is so new, but I am picking Guardians because I love
it.
I
thought about that.
I mean, just in terms of a ride itself, you have to acknowledge it's just crazy good. So
yeah. It is. And so
especially with September.
I think, I wish I haven't gotten that yet. I think for me, because you have that on your Rushmore, just to be different. Do I want to go with Remy? Is Remy too new?
I considered Remy,
too new.
But Guardians is newer than Remy.
Guardians new as Remy. Is the monorail? Does it count? It goes through.
No,
Epcot,
monorail doesn't count. Monorail doesn't count.
Oh,
I support you using Remy because I almost did it.
I know, but it's just like I'm looking for something, and I was actually looking at past attractions, and I'm like, there's really nothing.
You could pick Frozen.
Like, I could pick Frozen, and I thought about that too. But like with the past attractions,
Living with the Lands,
I did not experience Food Rocks or Kitchen Cabaret or Cranium Command.
I didn't even think about
Wars.
Cranium Command would have been a good one.
Everybody I know, like Stephanie, loves.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you Guardians. I'll give you Guardians.
You know what? I'm not going to do Guardians. I'm going to do Illuminations.
Okay. You can do Illuminations. Okay.
I just realized Illuminations because I almost did Tapestry of Nations. Then I realized, I'd never seen it. And so I'm going to do Illuminations. And I loved Illuminations. I
know you did.
It was so much fun with that big, the lights go out. Oh, it was so great. I loved it. So Figment, Test Track, Soarin', Illuminations. For you, you've got Soarin', Figment, Test Track, and Guardians. And of course, the original versions of all of these.
Yes.
The original version of Guardians with September. So let's go to the icons. Let's round this thing up. And I think we're just going to stick with these 4 parks here.
Yeah.
Instead of doing anything, just in the interest of time, because it's getting late where you are in your neck of the woods. Can we agree Spaceship Earth is
agree. Spaceship Earth is in there.
It's on there for
Dame Judi Dench version. Although I could also see the Jeremy Irons version. I do know both.
Yeah, see, I don't know, but I'm gonna have to go with Judi Dench because I don't know the original. And I think
I could send you a recording of it.
I think I heard the original in 2004.
Oh, his voice is great with it.
But I don't remember it. That's the whole thing. I just don't. So I'm gonna go with Judi Dench.
Okay.
Or so we think. My next icon, I'm going to go with the Guardian ship, the Xandar Cruiser out in the front of the Guardians.
Oh, that's a good one.
And that is new, and that's why I was kind of struggling with this one.
Yeah, that is new. Yeah.
But I think because it's one of the first ones, and I know they're coming out with all the new little symbols for the new lands and stuff, but it's the first new symbol we've gotten in a long, long time.
Yes.
And it's just cool. And I think when it was put up, I think people were excited about it, and they were like, the ride is coming, and how cool is the starship? It's like a life-size Xandar starship, and it just looks neat. It's a photo op, and people love taking pictures of it. And it's one of those things where, and all these icons we're listing, people take their pictures in front of it, or they take selfies with the ship.
They do.
So I'm going to go with the Guardians Xandar ship. What's your next one?
My next one, the Mexico Pavilion.
Mexico. Ooh, I mean, like the pyramid?
The extra pyramid.
Yes.
Because it is so, it's so iconic.
That's good. I didn't think about that.
Ooh,
that's really good. That's because I was trying to think of something in World Showcase that really like showcased World Showcase. And that's good. Do I want to go with that now? You know what? I
have good ideas.
I know you do. You have great ideas sometimes. You hired me. So I'm going to go with Jerry's out. I think I'm going to go with the American Pavilion.
Okay.
It's a little tougher to recognize, I think, in a silhouette.
It is harder.
It's harder. I was going back and forth between that and between the Japan structure, and I can't think of the name of the structure. I'm not going to try to say what it is because I don't know what it's called. But the Japan structure there in the water, which looks cool. But
Google what's that called.
But I think the American Pavilion, it's just kind of at the center of
something
World
gate.
Showcase. Something gate. That's where the concerts are held, and like no matter which side you go on, Mexico or Canada. Which, by the way, I don't mind starting in Canada. I'm fine starting in Canada. You always
I actually normally start in Canada, depending on where I come from.
What are you people crazy? I'm like, no, just start in Canada. You're fine. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with what's the final one on your icon list?
Wait, the final one?
Yeah, you've got Mexico, Spaceship, or no, your third one. Sorry, take that back. Your third one. No, just kidding. Your third one.
Actually, I did have the it's called I had the Japanese, it's called a Torii gate. I'm probably saying it wrong. Torii. Again, and that between that and the pagoda, I think it's just very, again, iconic. You think of it, you're like, oh, World Showcase, like
right.
So
right.
Yeah. So I actually had that as well.
So I'm gonna go with my final one here, and I don't know how you would put this on a rock face to make it recognizable, but I'm gonna say the Wonders of Life as a pavilion, as a structure.
Oh,
and to me,
okay.
that is going to represent everything in Epcot that came before that is no longer there. The Odyssey, the Wonders of Life, the World of Motion, all those things that Epcot was built upon. And I really could have gone with Odyssey on this too, but I'm going to go with Wonders of Life because I feel like that's kind of an old Epcot vestige. Like that's kind of, you go to Wonders of Life, suddenly you're walking into the old Epcot when you've got all the stuff that we don't have anymore. The magical journeys and the horizons and the Communicore, the imagination, what's it called? The interventions.
Interventions,
so,
yeah.
I'm going to say Wonders of Life because that's old Epcot to me.
Okay.
Finally, for you.
For me, I'm going to say, okay, go with me here. Sea Base Alpha. So that was pre-Finding Nemo.
Nice. Okay.
Sea Base Alpha. So that was the original Seas Pavilion. There are still nods to that. And I don't know if you'd have like one of the divers in the crazy big helmets or what, but
Mickey with the scuba helmet on.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
I don't know. I just, again, nod to the original. And I don't go in that pavilion very much anymore, but I used to all the time.
Nice. So we both got Figment. We both got Soarin'. We both got Test Track. I had Illuminations, and you had Guardians on yours.
Yes.
I've got on my icon list, I've got Spaceship Earth. I've got the Xandar ship in front of the Guardians, the American Pavilion, and the Wonders of Life. You've got Spaceship Earth, the Mexico Pavilion, Torii Gate, and Sea Base Alpha. So that's a good list. So to wrap up, and we're not going to do the Legends tonight either because again,
save that for the next one.
But I will do one more list, one more little foursome here.
Okay.
Not counting the main icons, not counting Spaceship Earth, the Tree of Life, the Castle, or say Tower of Terror. Pick one thing from each park to go on a park Rushmore, like one, not the icons, but like one thing from each park to go to represent that particular park. If the castle could not represent Magic Kingdom,
so anything that's not the castle, so like it can't be. So, but we're picking from our icon list.
Yeah, it could be anything you picked, or even something you didn't pick, whatever.
Okay.
Anything, attraction, whatever.
So for me, for Magic Kingdom, I'm gonna. This is a tough one.
That's why I asked.
Oh God. I'm really torn between Spaceship Earth and Haunted Mansion. I'm probably gonna give it to Spaceship Earth because I do feel like that is, I mean, it's like toward the front. Like
but Spaceship Earth and Haunted Mansion aren't in the same.
I'm sorry,
Space Mountain.
Space Mountain. Yeah. We just were talking about Spaceship Earth. You know what I meant?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I'm gonna go. I think with Space Mountain on that.
I agree.
Animal Kingdom, not Tree of Life. I'm gonna go with Everest.
Everest is the
obvious choice.
That's the only choice, really.
Hollywood Studios.
Studios.
This can be past and present if you want, but Hollywood Studios. And no, we can't. I guess Tower of Terror would be the icon itself.
That would be the icon itself.
We'll say that's the current
so
icon.
We're gonna say we can't use that one.
Yeah, we can't use that one.
Okay.
Right? It's a little tough.
I mean, Earful Tower, I guess. Although like part of me wants to say Gertie, but
I'll go with the Earful Tower. I would even say that of the Sorcerer's Hat, but I think because it was
I could go with the Sorcerer's Hat too. Like I did enjoy.
I think most people would recognize the Sorcerer's Hat over the Earful Tower.
They probably would, and I like the Sorcerer's. So we can go with Sorcerer's Hat.
We'll go Sorcerer's Hat.
Let's go Sorcerer's Hat.
Epcot, not Spaceship Earth. This is tough.
This is hard.
I may go with the Guardian ship. It's so brand new. But I feel like that's where Epcot is the park of the future, and that's where Epcot's going. Epcot is the future park, and
I can see that argument. My other thing was like the Mexico Pavilion, just because it has the World Showcase. But I can totally see an argument for the Xandarian ship.
Because the problem is with Test Track and with Soarin', I mean, the buildings are recognizable. The tracks are.
Now, Journey into Imagination, the Imagination Pavilion is recognizable.
That's true. You know what? I'm going to go with that. I think I would go with that because that is a past and a present attraction, even if the present one is kind of
right.
This was fun.
This was a fun episode. I like this one.
This is a lot of fun. Let's wind this thing down. Jen, where can we find you online?
You can find me at Upon a Star Jen, and my personal Instagram is at Jen_Novotny. Follow our agency at Upon a Star Travel, and follow us.
Perfect. I like it. You can follow us, of course, at Upon a Star Travel and all the places. Upon a Star Travel on Instagram and on Facebook and, of course, on Twitter. Do we even have an Upon a Star Twitter at this point?
It exists.
I think it exists. Yeah, don't worry about Twitter, guys. We don't worry about Twitter for anything.
We don't do anything with it. We hold it so nobody else can have it.
Exactly. Don't worry about that. But go, of course, find me online. Find me at The Magic on a Dollar on Instagram. Find me at Magic on a Dollar and Disney on a Dollar on Facebook. And, of course, find us at themscpodcast.com as our website. At Gmail is our email address. Of course, we are on Twitter, but again, I do a few things here with Twitter. Find us on Instagram.
Do more than me.
Of course, find us on Facebook as well at the MSC Podcast. We would love to hear from you as well. Fun episode, Jen. It is like late in Amish country. I guess they're good. I guess they gave you a special hour permission to turn on the lights there for an hour to podcast.
Yeah,
they're gonna.
Yeah, obviously.
Jebediah is gonna pull that switch pretty soon and turn the candles off. I understand. So you just totally offended all of our Amish listeners, which I guess that's kind of contradictory. Anyway, for Jen, I'm Dave. Hey guys, don't forget to thank those Phoenicians because they're iconic.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.